Welcome to the Tacobout Investing Podcast. Today, we're excited to have real estate investor Evan Ungar. He's going to share to us the valuable lessons that failure can teach us about success. Stay tuned for the end for some bonus content you don't want to miss out on. Enjoy the show. Hey guys, it's Taco, and today I have a interesting guest that I brought on the show, and he's doing a lot of stuff. He'll let us know about it, but what I love about him is his ability to kind of like keep going. And he's literally made his entire business model in his life 1 inch at a time. He's never given up. So his ability to achieve a goal is incredible. Like he's a survivor. And I think that's what makes strong entrepreneurs at the end of the day. And, you know, I'm sure he's been defeated many, many times, and he's able to take it 1 inch at a time. So I'm just going to let Evan introduce himself. He is a amazing character, and ever since I met him, we got along, and I don't know.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah. I don't know what to say. Thank you for the intro. Definitely have been knocked down many, many times, but I think as you and every entrepreneur knows, like in business, you're going to get crushed. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to trip. You're going to fall, but ultimately your greatest success is only as great as your, greatest, knockdown, we'll call it. So there it is.
Yeah. Like that's, there's like, so on our show, we like to talk about one in real estate investing, and then as well as just kind of being an entrepreneur, or just, I like to reach out to the younger audience to say like, hey man, like everybody can do this. There's no like magic out there. Really, I think the magic is kind of like what you did, is just keep at it, right? Like keep at it. 100%. So if you guys don't know this, and I didn't really know this until I started researching about Evan, because I was like, I'm going to have him on the show. I know him and we're doing a lot of business together, but I was like, let's see what Evan's all about so I can have some good background about him. And I saw your video with Joe Rogan.
Yeah. And
on this video, he's watching you. You're jumping onto a box, right? Straight standing box jump. Single leg, double leg?
Regular. Yeah, I've done both, but this one was a regular box jump.
Okay, regular box jump. And Guinness Book of World Record, he breaks it. Pretty interesting. Joe Rogan's obviously talking about it on the show. And one of the things that I loved that he said was like, this guy is going to run or should be running $1 billion company. And so why did he say that? Why do you think he said that?
I think the comment from him came after he said, look how focused this guy is. Because you can see it in my eyes. Like you can see how I'm like, I'm staring through the box. I'm like not even there. I'm like so laser focused, nothing else exists. And so he's like, look at how focused this guy is. And he goes, oh, this guy should be running $1 billion company with the focus and determination like that. And so that was pretty awesome to hear him say. And of course, I said, fuck it. We got to do it. Let's go. So we've been building it ever since.
And that's kind of like what I love, right? That's what I love about you. And like, we're going to get into who you are and everything like that. But like, that's, man, I think the secret, like the secret sauce. You could read all these books and gain all this information, but at the end of the day, it's, putting it out there. I'm sure like we can get into it. Like when you first started jumping, you weren't record breaking. How did you even start that goal? Like, how did that become your goal? I guess the Guinness Book of World Record. Was it even a goal? Like, how do you get there?
Yeah. So, I mean, it all starts with a little bit of ego, I guess. But I used to work in a gym, and I had this guy who worked with me. He was a semi-pro volleyball player. Yeah. And we were always going back and forth, like, oh, who can do this better? Who can do that? Yeah. So, bench this, squat that. And then one day he was like, who can jump higher? And I was like, all right, let's go. And so we started jumping, and like getting higher and higher and higher, and stacking more and more boxes on top. And then,
but you never failed, right? Like
I didn't fail that day. We just kept going up, and then he lost, and I hit the last jump. And when we look around, and we were like, people in the gym were like clapping, and we're like, what the hell is going on? And like, come to realize like, yeah, this is pretty damn high. And so we Googled it, and we were a foot away from the Guinness World Record, which like in terms of one maximum movement is a pretty significant amount of space. But I made the decision like that day. I was like, all right, I'm going to break this record. And so I said, screw it. I trained for just under a year, and then about a year later, I broke the record. So
that's crazy.
That's how it came to be.
I never thought like you would. I never thought when I was Googling you, the thing that I would find, right? Like I know a lot about you. We've hung out. I love your personality and everything like that. The last thing I thought would be like,
it's the best icebreaker ever. But it's also hilarious because I think going into a lot of meetings, you want to prepare for who you're meeting with. And so now, our team books meetings. We have these like really high level meetings. We get together with like CEOs like yourself and business owners like yourself. And the first thing everybody says when they get on the Zoom call is, so I looked you up and oh my God, you can jump. And I'm like, oh man, here we go.
It's so funny. I think we're going to have to get you to jump today.
Let's go.
We got to do this. I think I can out jump.
Okay, I want to see that.
I'm competitive too, man.
Okay, man. I don't want you to hurt yourself. I was at the gym one time and this guy was box jumping and I was in sales and I was selling personal training at the time and he was box jumping and I went up to him and I was saying, giving him a tip and he was like jumping really high and he's like, oh man, like, don't worry, I can jump higher than you. And I was like, I had already had my 2 world records and he didn't know it. The trainer obviously knows this and the trainer's like, oh my God. And I was like, all right, I'll bet you. I was like, I'll bet you another package of personal training because like we're trying to hit quota or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we'll do something small, like $1,200 worth of training, like small package, 10 sessions, whatever it was. And I was like, if you lose, you have to buy them, but you get them at regular cost. So like, you're not really losing. You're just buying them early or whatever. He's like, oh, and if I win, and I was like, I'll give you $1,200 worth of sessions for free. And he was like, all right, let's go. Shake on it. Let's do this right now. And I was like, but the funny part is that before he said that, he was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, I'll make you the deal. I'll jump off of 1 leg and you jump off of 2 and whoever wins the bet. And that's when he was like, all right, yes. And of course,
I can imagine.
Yeah, I beat him off of 1 leg. So. Careful when you're betting. That's
crazy. That's good. Hey, I didn't say I'd beat you today, but I'm saying I can beat you, man. I'm competitive too. I love a good competition.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's get into, I guess, where you come from, where you grew up, just like brief, like what was your upbringing? I like to do that because it shows listeners like, everybody comes from different walks of life and who you are and where you are doesn't necessarily equate your success sometimes. So
agreed.
So I like to talk about that on our.
Okay, great question. So born in Montreal, moved to Oakville when I was 7. And, my dad kind of worked his way up the corporate ladder. And then we moved to California and he was, the president of a division of a digital imaging company in San Francisco. And so he was making it like really, really big out in San Francisco. So we all moved to Cali. And then come 2008, the recession hit and they basically let him go. And we were on visitor like visas and the visas expired as they let him go. And like my entire family dynamic literally imploded.
Oh, wow.
So ended up like, cars got repossessed. The house went to the bank. We declared bankruptcy. My mom and my sister left to move back to Montreal. My mom and I like a year or 6 months later moved back to Oakville. And while my dad wrapped up like the affairs and the house and everything there. And then, man, it was rough since then. And then kind of just like, just been working ever since and always been a hustler, always been on the grind, always loved like talking and networking. And so, got into health and wellness and the fitness industry in college and, got heavy into sales, once I graduated and kind of found like, I love networking and I love talking to people. Yeah. It's just like, I'm just a people person. I love it. And so, it gives me energy and I give energy. And so it works out perfectly, as you know.
I know, man. I love being a social butterfly. I don't know what it is. It's just in me, right? Like I can't,
100%.
Whether I'm at a bar or a club or at a networking event, I just feel like I got to like spread my wings. And I know you're the same where like, I'm just going to touch everybody and just say hi, right? Like everybody's got to know who I am at the end of the day, right? Like,
yeah, I think energy is contagious and the people who bring the most energy often attract
agreed.
Like the most people. And I think for business, it's absolutely amazing, especially when you're in a people facing and people business, it gives you an edge. So absolutely. So anyways, that's kind of where I went from and came to and just been on the grind and have an axe to grind further. So I'm working my way up to hit that Joe Rogan sentence.
Yeah. It's interesting. I was talking to when you mentioned about your dad and not retiring, but like getting laid off and like the world coming to a complete end. And obviously you guys are still around and you're obviously very successful. I had the conversation with my wife and I was like, honey, what if like, everything we've built just crumbles and like, I don't know. And do you think would I go back to work? Like what would my life look like? Or what do you think our life would look like? And the first thing she said was like, what do you mean? I was like, if all of the companies that we own and everything we've built just comes down to crushing and we got to go bankrupt, we have $0. She's like, you're going to start another company.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah, 100%.
And I knew that I would, but I never thought about it aloud. And then when she told me that, I was like, click.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like there's no.
And did it eliminate some of the fears for you? And did it eliminate some of your like, I feel like some people tippy-toe around risky, like educated risk, but they tippy-toe around risk because they're fearful of those things. Did it change anything for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, it just kind of like, it was nice to hear because sometimes, I'm my biggest fan and you're like, I'm always like, okay, this guy said no, or hey, you shouldn't do this, or like it's impossible, or whatever, right? Like, I mean, I remember in grade 11, my high school teacher said I was a terrible student.
Likewise.
I think my average was 37.5% for grade 11. So I go to the new semester. I go to meet this new teacher. I was late. Of course, I was always late. That was just me. I hate waking up early. And the first thing she said to me was like, I guess she looked at my card and she was like, look, you should just kind of quit. And just go get a job. Like you're not gonna achieve anything. And I don't know, like I had resentment towards LA, but I don't know if like she was maybe my biggest fan or person that like motivated me. But I'm always self-motivated. And then sometimes it's nice to hear from like my wife about like
you're gonna be successful.
You are. There's nothing in this world that's gonna stop you from being a successful person. And where that ends, I don't know. And yeah, it did change a little bit in me. And like, now I'm reading Grant Cardone's book, The 10X Thing. And I realized like, I'm always applying that strategy, which is why I think I'm successful. It's like, I'm always like, okay, here's where we are. Here's where I want to be. What happens if I'm 10X from that? Or like, what happens if I'm like, where's the next layer to that layer? Cause I don't think I'm not going to get to that goal. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
amazing.
I'm sure you're similar, like
100%.
Like the jumping thing, right? Like you're like, okay, this is as high as they jumped. And you're like, what's the highest possible to jump? Okay, let's go get it.
Let's beat it. Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And so what I like about that is I've always thought when I first started, I was like, all I want to do is just be a project manager. And I'm like, well past that.
You're infinitely past that.
Right? Like my goal was like, I started this little construction company because my dad got laid off and he started a reno company and I became a project manager. And I was like, I got to my goal like within a few years of starting the business. And I was like, now what? And then that's like, ever since that moment, that I guess like that trigger in my life where I thought like, hey, now what? And every time I think of a goal, I'm like, okay, that's my goal. That's what I'm going to go get right now.
How can I multiply that?
But once I get there, what's the now what? And I think of both goals. I don't know if that's like how you strategize or you think to grow.
Yeah. So for our goal planning, like I've really like done an insane amount of research and courses and self-education on the best practices for goal planning. I actually used to work with Bob Proctor. I don't know if you know who that is, but it's from The Secret, Law of Attraction. He's like one of the biggest mentors in self-help series. So anyways, I used to work with him, and I mean, he just like the way to break down a goal is exactly what you're saying. Like take this goal and then look further from it and then plan from there, right? And so what we'll do is we'll take our goal, we'll multiply it out to make it larger, and then we'll get our smaller goals by breaking that crazy big goal down. If your goal doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. Like it should make you a little nervous, you know what I mean? And you should feel weird. Excuse me. You should feel weird telling small-minded people about your goals. If you don't, they're not big enough. And I've like resonate with that wholly. Like I feel so uncomfortable telling some of the people I know like what I'm aiming to achieve, because some of them will be like, oh, you're bragging, or okay, good luck, or you're crazy, or you'll never, like, that's insane. Like, why would you even want to try to do that? It's like, if you don't get those answers, your goals aren't big enough. You know what I mean? If the average person relates with your goal, you're aiming at average. That's how it's going to go. So
yeah, no, it's cool. Okay. So let's get into what you're doing now. Like, I know, but let's chat a little bit about where you're at. So Joe Rogan challenged you, and I guess like
Yeah, Joe Rogan gave it a go. We were already in business at the time, Jordan and I. So we were doing consulting. Basically, both of us had huge networks of people, and we were just connecting the dots, saying like, oh, this person has a business or a project and they need money, and this person has money and wants to invest. So we connect all these dots, right? And then we got approached by a guy in real estate. He needed a second mortgage, and he is doing amazing in real estate. And so we said to him, okay, we'll provide you with a second mortgage. Teach us what you're doing. And we basically understood like, okay, these are the returns we're getting on this second mortgage. He must be getting crazy returns, right?
Yeah.
To be able to pay like 12% interest, like, I mean, you must be doing something right. So we decided to do that as well. Ran with the Burr model and started doing a ton of real estate acquisitions in a couple of years. Yeah, amassed an amazing portfolio. And then from there, as the pandemic hit, we saw our margins start to kind of shrink a bit because labor costs, material costs, as you know, these things skyrocketed. So we opened up our own construction company to mitigate that and have more control over the urgency per site. And that's gone amazing. And now with the amount of units that we have, we kind of see where are we spending a lot of money, not only where can we earn more, but where are we spending a lot? And property management was the next thing. So we brought all of our property management, except for a couple units, but the majority of it all in-house. And we've launched now externally our property management company. So,
that's really cool. Yeah. Because like you mentioned all these little businesses, but yeah, like I've noticed a lot now running a few businesses, like cost certainty is crucial for scaling.
Absolutely. Especially for scaling. You have no option. If you go over your estimate and your override, everything else falls like dominoes, right? So,
so what size projects are you taking on? Like, I guess, like, I mean, you started with the burst strategy. So I'm saying you were doing duplexes, triplexes.
That's right.
Are you getting into multifamily? And I don't consider like 6 and above, I guess, to be multifamily, like buildings. Like, what's your, where's your current hurdle of like real estate that you're investing on? Yeah. And then what's like the, oh my God, this guy's crazy hurdle.
Yeah. Oh, I love that question. Okay. We're picking up everything from 1 to 50 units. Okay. That's 50 is kind of like where I believe that all of my companies can still participate comfortably. Okay. My oh my God hurdle is we have this photoshopped picture of this like 500 unit building with tuck on the top of it. And like we're gonna have that building. So sooner or later that will come. But yeah, anything from 1 to 50 units is the playground we're playing in. All value add. We recently picked up a couple buy and holds, but my main focus is
especially now with interest rates and kind of the way the market, like the value add is like that. It's that big boost, right? That you can get where if you're just buying turnkey, like you're still getting great value, but it's not nowhere near that.
Agreed. And in this market, you can like, I mean, it just depends your appetite for risk, right? Like if you, in this market, you can actually still buy a good buy and hold at a high cap rate, like because of what's happened in the market. Interest rates came up, but the cap rates also came up because of it. And so I think the buy and hold strategy, if you were to compare the last like 3-4 years, this year is the best buy and hold year, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But value add will forever, in my eyes, hold the greatest like ability, right?
That extra juice. I think you guys posted a video recently where I think it was Jordan that posted it. It was like a property that you guys just finished, really nice, and then you show like that beginning photo, and it is like,
my God.
I remember walking in a building like that, one of the first renos we did with an investor, and there was 2 parents, 3 kids. They were all almost the same age, like running around just with diapers, and the bathtub, I'll never forget it. The bathtub was full of water.
Okay.
And all of their dishes were in their bathtub. And that's how they did their dishes.
Like, you're not going over for dinner, are you?
Right? Like, and that was their bathtub, like the kitchen and the food. And, there was like a section like this on the wall, roughly like the kid's height. And it was like a black stripe, and just like how
that image never leaves your head.
No, that was like one of those moments, everyone, you always see like, everyone looks up always, right? Everybody always looks up, and it's great to look up, but it's also really nice. And I don't know if you do this too, is to look down and see like how many steps you've come up to keep you like motivating. I'm like something, you look at a goal and you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. But like, just look back and realize like how much further ahead you are than other people, or even just like from where you were yourself, a year ago, right? Like, 100%. I mean, you're your best marker on where you are in life.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think like, and I really want to touch on that because I preach these like goal setting all the time. And what you just said, so many people fail to do. And it's really, look back at your previous successes, but track them. So we do all of our goal planning, and we keep it all in our Google Workspace and whatnot on like different Excel sheets or whatever platform you want to do it in. But all the goals that we have, so we have like really small goals, like property specific goals. We have company specific goals, and we have like economy goals, like big goals. And every time we align a date with these goals of when they're due, and then we go over this. We have like goal planning sessions all the time. And whenever there's a goal that we've accomplished, we don't delete it. We actually move it over to a separate Excel sheet.
Yeah.
We want to see that. And then whenever we're feeling like, fuck, man, we haven't achieved this, or like, why are we struggling so much? Like, wait a second, click the other sheet and you're like, holy shit, this sheet is like 200 line items from this year. Like, look at all the things we've crushed. It's amazing. And I actually do the same thing in my personal life with my bucket list. And I feel like, I'm young. I'm only 31 years old, right? And so I don't think a lot of people make their bucket lists until they're like 70 or 55 or 60, whatever it is. So I made my bucket list when I was in my early 20s, one of the best decisions I ever did, and I add to it yearly. But I also try and check off those things annually. I don't try and like wait till I'm like later years, right? And then I do the same thing. I move those over to the other tab so I can look back and be like, oh yeah, cool, I did create a stock portfolio that much. Oh cool, I did travel to that place. I did get on that show or do this thing. And so yeah, you have to look at your successes.
There's a really cool tool that I've seen. I don't know if you've seen it. There's one that's called the Life Calendar.
I have it. It's called something weeks, Your Life in Weeks, right?
Yeah.
I have the calendar.
That's the best. So somebody showed me that a long time ago.
Yes.
And they showed it, and basically what it is it's like a grid, and then 52 weeks across, and then times 90 years.
Yes.
And then,
that's hot.
which is cool, especially for goals, right? You can like, if you want to travel to, Italy by 60, you just mark it, and you kind of like put all your goals in those spaces.
Yeah.
I usually like just color them different colors and then write like what each color means. And then if you look at, and then you can find them online, it'll pre-fill out where you are. And then each week, like a week goes by so fast. Life is so short.
Yes.
Which is why like achieving your goals and like keeping track and even looking, right, to keep you motivated, I think is incredible.
Agreed.
So this chart, and when I looked at it, and I was looking at it for the first time with this guy, and he was explaining to me, and I was like, man, I got tons of time. I'm like halfway through. And he's like, yeah, but like, look, picture from 1 to 20, you were just learning how to eat, sleep, breathe, walk, and become a human. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't count. You're like, do you delete that from the chart? And then you're like, how old are you going to like enjoy life? Like, when do you enjoy life, right?
When does it stop enjoying it?
Right? Like, and then when is it just like, now you're just survival mode, right? Yeah. So we took off like another like 10, 20 years off of that. And then my chart was like this. And then I've like, man, there's not that many weeks left of me to enjoy. And then I start putting in all these things, and like, man, it motivated me to like just keep going further. And then there's this guy, and then I was find out what his name is. Ian, he's from the running club, All Day Running. I think he's a big motivational speaker. Let me Google this guy.
So for anybody listening that doesn't know what this chart is yet, it's literally a calendar, but instead of showing days, it shows weeks. And you can plug in your birthday, and it gives you like the average human life expectancy in the entire chart. And every dot, little square, kind of like a checkbox, is a week of your life. And so you plug in your birthday, it automatically fills the chart. So if you're born up here and your life expectancy is at the bottom, it like automatically fills the chart up to where you are in your life expectancy. And it's supposed to give a dose of reality to say like, get the fuck to it. Whatever to it is, like, get to it. Get to your goals. Get to your family. Get to those vacations. Get to anything that you want to achieve. And so I think that's really important.
It's Jesse Itzler. He's from the All Day Running Club.
Okay.
This guy, really wealthy, like made a whole ton of money. And what he does, so he's pretty running, he loves running, and he likes doing dunks and stuff like that. So he did the same thing with that calendar. except he does it in a year. So he takes the same calendar, but in a year, and he breaks it out, and you
smart.
like pin your goals, and it's like, it's huge. The calendars that he sells are like 2 feet by 4 feet. So you can like,
I have like a movie
it's like
poster.
in
That's
your
what I
feet,
have.
and then they like take sticky notes, and they just put it all over like your goals to achieve for the year. And then you're like, you got to fill in that calendar, and then you can see it. And then you're like, if you were planning on it, it starts to come. And then I find like the first time you miss a goal, you're like, oh man, that like, and then you got to move it. And then you don't want to keep moving it, because then you're only
like
letting yourself down.
That's right.
And one of the cool things that when I went to one of the shows that he spoke at that resonated with me was like, life is so short, man. Like tomorrow it's crazy snow, and tomorrow, boom, that's it. It's gone. And whatever you achieved and whatever you left behind. So like having goals is one thing, but like go achieve those goals, right? Like, and like go get it. Go get that world record. I got to keep bringing that up. It's just such a, it's an amazing achievement, but it's,
it's fun.
It's fun. You know what I mean?
I think one of the main reasons that calendar and like the big life calendars and the year calendars work so well is you have to be able to keep your eyes on the prize. I mean, something I talk about all the time is like the visualization. You have to be able to not only think about your goal, but it has to be in front of you all the time. Like when you're a kid, I always bring this example. When you're a kid and your room is a mess all the time, right? And you would never clean your room. Well, me anyways, I would never clean my room. Okay.
Same.
Okay, perfect. So what ended up getting you to clean your room? Probably your parents nagging you, your mom. Yeah. So same with me. My mom would nag me. And then finally be like, okay, I would just clean my room. But as humans, that's kind of like, I don't want to say how we're programmed, but that's kind of like how we're programmed. So you have to create things that will motivate or nag you in order to get to those goals. And one of those things is visualization, is keeping those goals in front of your mind. And so those big calendars up on your wall, you want to put it somewhere where you're going to look every single day, like many times a day. So when you pass it, you go, oh shoot, I have that goal of whatever, acquiring 10 more properties this month or whatever it is. Because if you're not looking at it all the time, the reason you have to move that goal to a new date is because it wasn't fresh on your mind.
Yeah, no, that's a really good, the visualization is important. That's why I love those calendars, right? Because you have to see it. Or at some point, you got to go fill in that week, you know? It's painful when you like fill in that week and you're like, what did I do this week? And you're like, I always stop and I think, I'm like, what did I do this week? Like, man, like, I'll come up with some things, but like, I know when I wasted a week, you know?
100%.
And I only have, 300 more weeks each week, and it swings by fast. And like people who have kids, you really see that those weeks go by. It's crazy. I had babies 4 years ago, and now they're people, and
they're people.
They are
fully grown humans.
They are fully grown humans. They're 4, but they are not babies anymore. And
that's awesome. So they make your time fly.
Oh man, they are the hardest working. They're the hardest part of my life, I think.
Yeah, hardest working. They make you work hardest.
They make me work the hardest. It's crazy. It's
that's
incredible.
Awesome.
Okay, so knowing you got Tuck Capital, Tuck Developments, Choice Renovations, Guinness Book of World Records, all this really cool stuff you've accomplished. If you could go back and talk to little Evan, who's 13, is getting ready for high school, figuring out his life, what would you tell yourself to, like, what did you learn up to today that you were like, if I could go back, this is what I would change? Like, we got a lot of listeners out there, and, either like young entrepreneurs or young people, even just people that are just trying to get into it. Like, what advice would you give yourself to skip ahead? Because now that you've lived it, and that's the cool part about mentoring and like working with people and like being in rooms, right? Like I find like you can Google everything online and you can learn all the information, but in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I call it the invisible Jiu-Jitsu, is like, you see a move on the internet.
Sure.
And you can like practice it. And I'm a brown belt, like I'm pretty experienced, but like how he has his hand or like the grip or like there's like teeny tiny little things. And that makes a huge difference. Like reading a business book that like if Grant Cardone, you read the Grant Cardone's book, and you talk to Grant Cardone, those are two different feelings, right? That you're going to have. So like, Evan, 13. Evan can now talk to Capital CEO.
Oh my gosh.
And all this stuff. Well, like what advice would you give yourself? What things would you encourage? Like what?
Such a good question.
I think it's the greatest question. Like
I think it's a good question. I really don't know because I did so much stupid shit when I was younger, and I would tell myself to do more of it, I feel like, because, and as crazy as that sounds, I think that's ultimately like what shaped me to be who I am today. And I you know, my parents would always say, you just do stuff without thinking. Like you just do stuff without thinking. It was always like in negative connotation. And like, I think that
take more risks.
Yeah. I don't want to encourage people to do stuff without thinking, but do stuff. You know what I mean? Like people read and read and read and read, and they aim and they aim and they aim and they aim, but they never fucking fire. And I'm like, fire the damn gun. Like just go out and do it. You want something, like just go fail 10 times to get it. Like don't put yourself like in physical danger. Don't put your future in danger, and don't put people in harm around you. But other than that, like just nothing matters.
Yeah, what's supposed to happen?
And I saw
you can start again.
You can start a million times over. I saw this video the other day, and it was this guy, and someone asked him. So it was like a meme video. I don't know. Someone asked him like, "How do you keep your anxiety down?" And then he goes, "I'll show you." And like the video zooms out, but it like keeps zooming out, like into Google Maps, like zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, and then you see planet Earth, and then it zooms out further and further and further, and like you realize you are a speck of dust.
That's a great visualization.
In like an ocean of oceans of oceans of planets, and like what you do doesn't fucking matter. Just make a good impact on what's around you and leave a legacy. But like ultimately, the negative worry, if you have good intentions and your heart's in the right place, the things you're anxious about, absolutely nothing. And they probably won't have an effect on you in 5 years from now. So
that's incredible. No, yeah, man, that's a really good, that's huge. I think that's the hardest part, right? Is everybody's so worried and afraid and everything like that. And yeah, like got to really put things into perspective, right? I think there's more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on Earth. And that, like really, like who cares if you fall or you didn't make it?
Fall more, fail faster, fail forward. Like absolutely, just keep.
Yeah, you know what? The important thing with that too is like it's okay to fail, but like learn, like look back, like okay, how did I fail? Why did I fail? Where did I go wrong? And then keep going. Like a lot of the billionaires out there, a lot of them filed for bankruptcy. A lot of them, like this is the crazy thing. You always hear about the good and you never hear about the negative. But like the negative is what made you good, right? And people don't talk about that enough. Everyone talks about success stories. And I mean, I can tell you all the bad things I've done in my Reno company, which has made me better today because we're constantly shaping. Even like yesterday, we were having a meeting about, one of the projects that we're working on and like, okay, how are we going to fix this for the next project so we don't run into these issues today so that we're constantly moving forward. And I think that's really key too, is like taking the risks, go out there, do it. If it becomes successful, great, but you kind of need to fail in order for it to become successful. And you kind of need to look back and really understand why you failed.
Yeah.
Because failing is going to just tell you like how to succeed.
That's the most perfect sentence.
Right?
Yeah.
Failing is going to tell you how to succeed.
It provides you with the map to succeed.
I put that on the back of my backdrop for our show.
Yeah. Right on the wall. That's good. Yeah. Failing will tell you how to succeed. That is very accurate.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's kind of like you said, right? It shaped who you were, right? You went out and did all these things so that you could know not to do those things or...
oh, that hurt. Fire's hot. Yeah, okay, don't touch the fire again, right? Or wow, that worked out really well. So yeah, I think that's a great way to say it for sure.
Okay, I don't know, man. You're a ball of energy. I love chatting with you.
Yeah,
we've always, I don't think
forever, man.
I think we could, film forever every time. With the Reno stuff, as you building, no, I do have hard hats, but I have my taco hats somewhere. That's like the coolest thing ever. Anyways, that is a question I want to talk to you. It seems why we should have wrote notes.
That's
my
he
guy.
He did ask. You said no.
He did ask. But either way, like it's great conversation. I know, like,
oh my God,
with certain guests, I know, and I have to like have certain. I have to make notes because sometimes like you gotta like pull information out of certain guests and stuff like that. But like I've hung out with you and I've talked to you. You're like me. You were like, let's go touch everybody. Let's go. Let me tell you about me. Like, I don't have to do any hard work for you.
No.
It's always natural, which is cool. Good. Okay. So
Renos.
You're doing a lot of real estate investing.
Yep.
You're saying you're going up to 50 units. What is the biggest challenge? Let's exclude the fact that you own your own rental company. What's the biggest challenge you have with scaling or having multiple properties with like contractors, materials? Like, what hurdles, I guess, are you running into when it comes to that sort of stuff? Like,
I think it's best probably to separate like the hurdles into two categories, maybe like an on-site and an off-site hurdle.
Sure.
And I'd say the on-site hurdle is everybody's on-site hurdle will be quality and making sure quality and speed, how to blend the best of quality and speed, and keeping people accountable to their quality and speed. And then the off-site hurdles is, I think, really, I don't want to say it's a people issue because nothing should ever be a person issue. It should always be a systems issue. And if it is a person issue, then you need a better system to back that person up.
Yeah.
And so I would say it's how to coordinate and manage the scale of renovations and all of the moving parts, because the back end is where you do all of your ordering, all of your administration, all of your coordination, your schedule, your timing, your finishing. Like, I mean, just the other day, a small example is like, okay, well, we were supposed to be done on the 1st for a property, and we wanted to do showings 2 days later. I was like, okay, that's a really tight schedule, but I like it. But let's push it back and give us a bit of extra space. Let's do showings on the 6th. And so, lo and behold, of course, the schedule got slightly delayed, and a slight delay is a couple days. And so anyways, when the 6th came, I had cleaners on the 5th scheduled. Yep. I had a realtor on the 6th. I was going on the 6th, and we had a dozen showings booked for the 6th. Okay. And the 6th rolls around. I show up to the site, and it's a fucking mess. Like, the contractor is still there, and he was supposed to be done 2 days ago. Nobody told me like this is going to be super, super tight. And I was like, the cleaners had come the night before, cleaned everything beautifully, and the contractor, because it was snowing, had the nerve to saw in the house.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Like, anyways, there's like a small snippet, right? So, but the issue isn't the contractor. The issue isn't the sawing in the house. The issue is, where was the system to notify us that it wasn't done yet, right? And so anyways, we did a last minute cleanup. You know, we apologized to the people coming through. Luckily, it got rented. Everything is fantastic. So that went over well. But, you know, how could that have been avoided, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I've been through moments like that. And even, you know what I've always realized too, just kind of like, it's going to help people out in general. Like, if you're ever in that situation, as long as people understand that construction is construction. Like, if the guy's finishing up trim, it's fine.
Yeah.
I will happily rent a place knowing that somebody's still there finishing it up and they're doing the finishing touches. Like, it's when it's not done and you can't kind of visualize that's when it's too late. But if you're like halfway through and, you know, the faucet isn't in, or they're, you know, finishing off the backsplash tiles, that's fine. Like, a renter will walk in and they can see it. As long as they can see the space, like, don't be afraid to show it. But, like, I find...
Sure.
Right? Like, just in that scenario, that's just like a side snippet. Okay, so I'm doing this. We're going to be posting a video about this, but how do you deal with getting bids from contractors? Like, you get, I don't know, 5 guys, right? What's your process? You're going to get 5 guys to come bid on the exact same job. And obviously the quotes are going to come in the exact same. It's going to be clear as day on how they all quoted it and the apples to apples comparison. No investor struggles with this ever. And like, how do you deal with that? Like, how are you, what system or procedure are you putting in place to kind of do that?
So if I have 5 quotes and they're all identical?
No, but they're not going to be identical.
Oh, they're not going to be identical.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten 5 quotes?
No, that's I'm asking you what scenario you were giving.
I'm giving you a scenario.
That's what I thought you said. I was like, oh man.
Maybe I wasn't.
So I have 5 quotes. They're all like different. I mean, to be honest with you, we're in a good spot right now where we have like our internal group, and then we have like our first round of subs, and these guys are absolutely amazing. So we don't often have to go to people that we don't know for service, which is like an
But
amazing
you didn't start
feeling.
knowing everybody though.
I didn't start knowing everybody. That's for sure. So I guess, okay. All right. So if it was,
It's not, I know I'm throwing you like
yeah, no, you're right.
under
You're
the
right.
bus.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, like,
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
So previously, I don't
We're
know.
all not Evan, okay?
I'm gonna look at the quotes. I don't know, never pick the highest, never pick the lowest, kind of, shoot in the middle. But it's a lot of times about asking questions. I like to not make those decisions myself. Whoever is going to be managing that site, I want to put them in contact. Ask them their process. What do they believe this? What happens if they're going to be delayed? How do we hold you accountable? How are you guys going to tell us when you're here? What software are you guys using so that we know you have systems to support your people, right? And so the same things that I would want to ask a manager in an interview for my business, if I was hiring a manager, I want to ask these companies to see what type of support, what's going to happen when something goes wrong. Something's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. What do they have in place to make sure it doesn't screw up my site? Right? So those are some of the questions and some of the thoughts.
Okay. And then what about having multiple units? What's your strategy for
just do it,
being able to repair and maintain these things now that you've had them for many years? I know a lot of people like to go out and let the contractor, I know you have your own in-house team, but at some point you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, I don't know if you did this, but you let the contractor buy the materials.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
It depends your capacity. I think that you have to decide at what point are you in your business, and you don't always have to decide this. This is you could do both and get the best of both worlds. But it's what do you value more at this moment, time or money, right? And you can try and get the best blend of both. But if you're scaling and you are making big decisions and you don't have a large team to support you, if they're buying the material or not, or you trying to buy the material to save yourself 10%, is it worth it? Your brain should be focused on scaling and creative ideas and problem solving. So if someone can go, in my opinion, if someone can go and buy that material for you, I'm not opposed to it, especially on a fix or something like that. A new faucet needs to be bought. Yeah. Okay. Tell the plumber to pick up the faucet and go fix the faucet. You know what I mean?
So how do you deal with my my floor scratched? I need my floor repaired. If you didn't buy the material.
If I didn't buy the material? I see. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably calling that person who installed it, but yes, it's an issue. Yeah, it's an issue. It would be.
Got him.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's important to have continuity, right?
For sure.
Especially when you're doing multiple units. In the first few units, and if you don't plan to hold them, if you're just flipping them off, then who cares?
That's right.
Because you're not going to.
If you're letting go of them, it doesn't matter as much yet.
Right, but if you're going to keep them and you're going to have a 70-unit building, I mean, letting the contractor buy the trim and then having to figure out where he bought the trim and what.
Yeah. No, if I'm at economies of scale, that impact on, and that's why I said this is for a small fix-it job, right? But if we're at economies of scale, a 70-unit apartment building, there's no, it's worth putting someone on my team to get the materials ourselves. Absolutely. And for continuity purposes as well, right? So we'll have all the materials on sites. We may have multiple contractors working on that site, but we'll have our material from one place for sure. And it's going to give us buying power. It's going to give us better value. It's going to give everything better.
It's probably going to let you keep your contractors apples to apples, right? Because there's no variable now.
That's right.
Just
it's all labor costs.
All labor.
That's it.
Right. So,
for sure.
That's the thing. And then we talked about this on Instagram. It's a stupid thing. 1 second.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I know. See, this is what's fun.
So thrown off.
This is what's fun.
Oh yeah.
I know how I can mess you up.
Yeah. I got you. I remember.
This little guy here.
Not having this thing. I haven't played with it yet, so I'm excited to see it for the first time. But not having this damn thing cost me a damn salary.
How much
actual costs?
Roughly, it doesn't be specific.
It cost me
from the time of having to deal with the situation, your time, the time it took somebody to. Well, let's talk about the situation. Okay, let's talk about what happened.
Okay,
generalize that. We'll set this thing up. Why don't you kind of
I had a tenant move out. He hadn't paid rent in a long time, and as you know, in Ontario, the landlord-tenant laws favor the tenant, so he hadn't paid rent in a long time. We won the tribunal case. He got served notice that he had lost the case. He's being evicted, and so before, like the 2 days before his move-out date was supposed to be, he left. We didn't know. Okay, and it was middle of the winter, freezing outside, snow on the ground, and this guy decided to open all the windows and leave.
It happens.
Oh God, man!
You know it's gonna happen. You're not every tenant isn't gonna be a great tenant.
No, for sure.
And you're gonna run into scenarios. So again, what systems? We'd love to talk about systems.
Yeah,
what system did you have in place at that time?
So, unfortunately, like in a position like this, we didn't. We were prepared to go to the apartment on the day we were supposed to move out.
You can't really plan for it.
Yeah, we're not checking like every 2 days. That's for sure, right? And so we had actually been there the week before, and it looked like he was still there. But anyways, long story short, he moved out a few days before from what we assumed, and
left the windows open.
The whole day, and we had 5 radiators explode. 5 steel steam powered radiators literally explode. Like, and I mean, like, these things are solid metal. It's not like, oh, the plastic chipped off. There were chunks, like someone took a hammer and hit it, and there was like, and it was like on the other side of the room, like it shot off. Like, I'm lucky it didn't go through a window, to be honest. And so anyways, all these radiators started popping, and basically it froze, it popped, and then the amount of water this is in a 4-plex, and he's in the upper unit, of course. And so, you know what happens next.
So how long was this water just pouring out for? But
I think we got
2 days, 3 days?
No, maybe from the upstairs unit. I don't know. So the 4 radiators in his unit blew. We don't know when, but it must have been a significant amount of time, because the hardwood floors had all time to warp and bend in all sorts of ways. Okay. But the main floor radiator in the lobby blew. And I think within I want to say an hour and a half, we had the water in the house shut off. Okay. And so that stopped going. But then the next morning when we went upstairs or to open and see his unit, we realized he's gone. It was just like a peaceful stream of water just flowing down the stairs constantly, and we were like, this is just awesome. So all the hardwood floors toast, the walls were nice and wet, and all the trim was all messed up, and then of course 5 radiators, the plumber, the contractors, all that fun stuff. So we weren't planning on renovating that unit.
What was that
time frame?
No, cost.
Oh man, I mean, easily $10,000. Easily, I'm sure it was probably closer to 13, somewhere around there. The radiators alone, the work on radiators alone, are going to be like $4 or $5 grand plus flooring and install and new trim. So yeah, we're up there.
So I had a similar client who, same thing. Tenant moved out, didn't notify him. Middle of winter, power went off. Pipe exploded.
Yeah.
Except that property management company that they had didn't check it.
When the person moved out? Oh, well.
And they waited until they had a showing.
Oh, no.
To schedule it. And good thing we're in Ontario and our water bill comes every month.
Oh, no, because they're quarters.
Yeah, every 3 months.
Oh.
So when they went there, who knows how long it was leaking for.
Oh, my God.
We had to gut it down to the studs.
No way.
Back to the studs.
I'm so lucky I didn't have that issue.
And it was a Century home.
So you had to put it proper back. Yeah.
Asbestos wrap.
So they had to remediate.
They had to remediate, spray everything with like a air scrubbers.
My heart hurts.
It was 10,000. 10,000 was
That's
just
nothing.
nothing.
10,000 is not even the remediation.
But at the end of the day, this baby, when I saw your video,
yeah, you sent me a message right away.
It's $500.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. What does this do?
Okay, so this is a smart water meter.
Okay.
This is a valve here. It turns on and off.
Okay.
You can open and close it from your phone on an app. And you put it right, you have your water meter, and then you put this valve in there. There's also a flow sensor too that you can add onto it, and it'll track how much water is being consumed.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so this little setup is $500. There's lots of different companies out there. I like these guys because they don't have, there's no subscription. That was like one of the first questions you asked me. No subscriptions.
How do you pronounce their name?
Sinopi.
Sinopi.
So these are water sensors. You can buy the kit that comes with like 5. So these things, basically, as once water hits these 2 prongs, this will create an audible alarm to let you know like where in your space.
This small one is the sensor, and this is what communicates with the valve mechanism.
Yeah, and it'll turn it off.
That's wicked.
If you can kind of set them up in like spots you think would be.
So where do you recommend?
Under dishwasher, washing machines are another big one. Under vanities. A lot of people are like, oh, why wouldn't you put it by the toilet? So toilets usually don't leak. Like trickle, like unless when you flush it and then like it'll overflow, but that somebody was there to create that. You know what I mean? Like
you're right.
You don't need a sensor for it. So because a lot of people are like, oh, well, should we put it by the toilet? I'm like, no, man, like it's a mechanical. Somebody has to hit the mechanism for it to leak. The little flow sensor though that tracks how much water consumption. It'll also track slow consumption, right? Like when you flush the toilet or when you turn on the water is like on, so the valve's like, and then it closes. But if the toilet flapper is like a little bit off,
and it just keeps doing
so this will just like slowly be moving, and it'll tell you like it will send you a message and say, hey,
something's happening.
There's like you got like a really slow movement of water, which is not natural.
That's great,
right? You either open it or close it. There's never a slow right, and it understands like the difference between a leak or water usage.
That's wicked. I like it.
And then even you can like it's cool because there's a lot of good programming on it. You can set up rules. So like if the water is being used, so somebody's taking like a 3-hour shower or like a tenant left the shower on and walked out.
Every time my girlfriend takes a bath, I'm like, oh, that's enough water. Boop. I think a half bath is fine today.
You know what? Like I have teenagers.
Oh, God.
And I have a tankless water heater in my tank
in
my house.
So you're running some hot water.
So we're separated, and I'm sure at his parents' house, they shower until there's no more hot water.
Yeah.
And in my house, it's never ending. This guy was in the shower. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, he's like, I'm showering. And I'm like, you've been in the shower for an hour.
This is a whole nother type of podcast.
Right? Like, dude, I know. But anyways, it was so funny though, but this, like, you can set the rules. So after an hour, it'll just shut it off. So, but what's cool about this stuff is that little thing will tell you, and you can set up rules. So if it goes longer than a certain amount of time or whatever, it'll turn. And now your tenant's calling you to be like, hey, the water isn't working. And you're like, you or your property manager, it can email you on the app, and it can send an email to whoever you want it to. Your property manager will now have an email to say the water was shut off because there was a long use detected, right? Like over 5 hours of the water being open. And then like,
that's amazing.
Were you taking a really long shower, or like what's going on? Something seems to be on that shouldn't be off. They're like, they went on vacation.
Yeah.
Forgot to leave the water. Like there's so many practical uses for this thing.
And I think one of the things I like too is, for some weird reason, and I have no explanation for it, but for some weird reason in my head when you were explaining it, I was thinking like, okay, if it detects water, that thing's closing and it's done. And like, okay, now I got to replace that thing too. And I don't know why I had that thought, but maybe someone else does too. But you can just reopen it. Like you can just click it and reopen it. It can be used over and over and over
again.
I think that's really cool too. And so you have like basically all the features of a smart light switch with rules and routines and everything to now control your water with. And as a landlord, that's important. The only thing I would like ask about, and I had mentioned it to you too, was I guess it's working on Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
So you do now you get into a scenario where like, you don't have to pay for a subscription to this, which is really nice because almost everything smart home related is subscription based, but you do have to have some kind of Wi-Fi in there. And I assume, I don't know if the tenant is cool with you using it, or if now you have to have Wi-Fi in every house or building that you have, right?
Yeah. So you have to have Wi-Fi to control it from afar.
But you don't need Wi-Fi for the system to work internally. Oh, that's good. Okay, great. Didn't know that.
Right. Like, because these things, so what they use, which is really smart for building, it's a mesh system. Okay. So like only the first one needs to have Wi-Fi, and it will and it'll just bounce the signal all the way.
If you want it on your phone.
If you want it on your phone.
Yeah.
So you don't need Wi-Fi and like all the sensors. As long as all the sensors are close enough, including like in a building, like if you have somebody in a building,
they're connecting via proximity to each other. Yeah, that's really
using
cool.
a mesh system, which is a really neat
smart
feature. A lot of them don't do that. Like each one needs their own individual source. But that's what it is. Okay, let me.
Oh man, you can watch that thing close. That's awesome.
Open it up. See, that would have stopped the water from the cold thing.
I know. Oh my god, that would have literally. That button just saved me could have saved me $13,000.
All right, let's see if we can get this puppy to work. It also has a thermal temperature.
Put your finger in there and see if it closes with your finger in it. Don't
probably
do
would. It probably would.
There goes the finger. Stops your water and your hands.
I don't know. Let's see if this thing's gonna work. It's open. It says it's open. Okay, cool. Let's pour a little bit of water here. Tell me this thing has. Oh, there you go.
Whoa.
I don't know if this is connected to that.
It's definitely we hear the alarm.
Yeah, but it would close right away. No. No, that's me. As soon as this starts beeping,
It closes.
it closes.
That's wicked. Yeah, like a couple.
And that's not a lot of water.
That's a very minimal amount of water. And so you can dry this off and then put it right back in
Yeah,
place.
like once it's dry.
Yeah.
It's ready to go again. Yeah, just put it back in the water.
Damn, that's fast. That's actually like really fast. And there's really like next to nothing here on the table.
Yeah, and it'll tell you like the position
It's dying.
of the thing.
Which one is detected on?
Yeah, and the status of the valve. So right now it's closed, no water.
Mhm.
I got a notification from the app to say there's a water leak
Sweet.
and an email from them to say that, hey, and you can label these things.
That's wicked. Thank you.
Yeah, so you can label them. So
Yeah, it's
they'll
like
come pre-labeled. So you know one,
Identical
you know
like
two.
your like lights in your
Yeah.
house. That's amazing.
And
Thank
then
you
that's
so
it.
much.
And then this, see?
Could have saved me a lot of money, yeah. And so can you buy them in bulk and get a discount?
I believe so. They have like packages. So they have like, you could buy like, they have packs. Like, so it's the valve, the flow valve, and then you have like 5 sensors, and then they sell the sensors in packs, which is where
And so the valve and a set of 5 sensors is how much?
$500.
$500. That's worth saving any type of issue from
That's what
happening in
like,
a house. Yeah.
And no subscription.
The no subscription is huge.
And you don't need
Huge.
the internet. Like it's got its own
I like it.
mesh reporting system, but you don't need the internet to be like, you obviously need to have the internet to be able to
See.
see it, to control it, unlock it, and all this stuff. Like it's even that $50 a month is like an insurance, and your insurance goes down. Speaking of insurance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you now have monitoring, like water monitoring.
Like by a significant amount?
It's not a significant amount,
But hey,
but it,
money,
you know,
insurance savings is a good savings.
it's a good savings.
That's cash right off the top, man.
I mean, how many months could we go till we hit the $13,000
Oh, God, so much, yeah.
point in like missed opportunity costs because the Reno stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay. So let's talk about some side hustles. Okay, like I think right now, especially and I'm always like the young guys, right? Like they got to get in the game, and to get in the game, you got to come up with a pile of money. So side hustles are a good way to come up with a pile of money. You don't have to, or you could be a hustle. There's a hustle. I think at the end of the day, I met a guy, and one of his side hustles is bouncy castles.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
He buys it. They're $1,000.
Yeah.
Buys them. He keeps them in his garage. Well, when he started, he kept them in his garage. You just go on weekends, rent them out. $300. $300.
Paid for in a couple days, yeah.
Got another one. Now he has a whole little business around bouncy castles, has full-time drivers in a van, and they just...
Oh, my goodness.
Like, and those are cool things. So I'm like, I don't know if you know any cool little things. I can show you a cool one we have it behind the door, but...
Oh, my God. That's so nerve-wracking. This is bad. Why are you guys laughing so much? Oh, no.
So which side hustles would you recommend or think are like super easy? Like,
I think the boring ones are I'm like so for boring money. I think boring money is good money.
are you talking about borrowing money or borrow?
Well, no, not borrowing.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. boring, like a boring job, And I think things like, like mowing the lawn, like grass cutting, snow removal, driveway sealing, painting, window cleaning, like
convenience,
and they're not glamorous. Like when someone asks you, what do you do? You're like, oh, I work for NASA. And they're like, wow, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. You're like, I fucking mow lawns. And they're like, oh, that's like kind of boring. You're like, yeah, but it prints money and it's low market, like it's low overhead relative to buying a building or anything. You can penetrate the market very easily. You can do it right from your house, like right around the corner from you, all your neighbors. So I like these like side hustles to get started. And then if your intent is to get into real estate, then I'd be like, pick a side hustle that's going to put you around people who are doing the things you want to do. So if you want to get into real estate investing, do a side hustle of like wholesaling or driving and be a bird dog, and for people who don't know what a bird dog is, it's really simple. We put out a video recently on this too. It's like, listen, when you're driving to work, when you're driving to your friend's house, when you're going anywhere, keep your eyes out for properties that are like beat up and dilapidated and have like tall grown grass or the boarded up windows or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then just write the address down or the closest intersection to it and send me the address. And if I buy the house, I pay you up to a few $1,000s too. Like not a small amount of money. I'm not talking like, oh, here's $100. Like it's like, no, here's $3,000. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like for that. You know what I mean? So it's like, these are hustles that can put you around people in your industry, like demolition. It's not science. It's like come in there and, you want to rip up floors. Great. It's a dirty, boring job, but
it's
puts
a good
you
hustle for sure.
Yeah. It's a good hustle.
It's better than going to school or like working at, not better than going to school. I misspoke. Better going to school and trying to get like this mediocre job and like not achieving success. And it's funny because all these side hustles and everything like that, like everybody works their butt off and it's just to just have free time. Like the money is a byproduct, I guess, at the end of the day, but I just need enough money so that I can just go do whatever I want.
But you're already there.
It's true, but I'm a serial entrepreneur. I can't
See,
stop.
you're not working for the time freedom. You have it.
I am, but this is my time freedom though, right? Like I'm doing this because this is fun. Talk about investing for me is fun. I love this. I'm a social butterfly.
Yeah.
Imagine like I could have a job where my whole job is just to talk to people about stuff that I love to talk about.
You're right, for sure.
This is fun. Sure. I'm on vacation right now.
Yes.
Right? I'm not hustling. This is just a really fun point in my life and I'm enjoying this. And it's fun and exciting. Like I side hustled and worked late nights and I remember tiling bathrooms with this guy who's into mortgages now, but we were doing a house on Mississauga Road, one of these like huge, like it was massive. And we were tiling this guy's bathroom in the middle of the night because we worked a regular day job and we would try to side hustle
100%
in the evening. And
I think like if you have a goal and you have a deep rooted reason as to why you want to achieve it, and that reason really means a lot to you, you'll do whatever it takes to hit that goal. And like these type of things that you're talking about, like full-time job, I'm sure that wasn't your only side hustle either. I'm sure you had other ones.
Right.
So, you're working overnight tiling. Like we all have these crazy stories. And, if you find a goal that means enough to you, you'll find a way. Then one of my favorite quotes is like, real entrepreneurs will jump out of a plane and build the parachute on the way down.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? That's how it is.
One of my best friends, his name is Lucas. He loves dirt bike riding.
Okay.
And he was always, he was dirt bike riding. And then every time he would talk to me, he's like, you're crazy. You're nuts. Because he worked with me doing renos for a bit and then went back and had a successful career in programming. But he was always like, you're nuts. And I was like, don't worry about the landing, man. Just jump.
Yeah, just jump.
Don't worry about the landing. Worry about the landing when you get there.
Yeah.
And I would always tell him that, especially when it came to and I would use that because of the dirt bike reference. And he's like, you're crazy. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the landing.
Ask him when you're going off of a jump, like a ramp, do you see where you're going to land as you go off the ramp? No. The ramp's like this. Are you seeing this part yet? No. You go off the ramp and when you're in the air, you start seeing it. You go, okay, I got to angle my bike here. I got to put my feet here. I got to land. I got to hold it.
100%.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing in life. Yeah. For sure.
Jump.
Great analogy.
You got to jump, man. You got to jump.
Yeah.
That's what I love. What else?
What is K Pasa? Tell me.
Oh, K Pasa. Okay, so K Pasa is it's a segment in our show.
Oh no.
And basically what we'll do is we're gonna pull up, our media team pulls up a bunch of random videos. I haven't seen it, you haven't seen it.
Oh, we just watch
and
them.
then we're gonna watch them.
Like live reactions.
Yeah, live reactions are usually Reno related.
Okay.
Like Reno fails, or I don't know. They keep it interesting every time.
Love it.
So they always try to show me like, no, like don't. I'm like find some more stuff like this. I'll give them ideas, but like this is all on them. And
I like it. Nice.
Yeah,
I did a whole series on my TikTok of like the worst like home decor and renovations that I've ever seen, and I did like a 14-part series on it. It was I saw some really ridiculous things, and I saw them online, and I pulled them, and I did some just fun like 10-second videos from them. So.
It's all right. Okay.
Click word.
We wouldn't click this one here. Okay, so so when we're doing these, we got to be like overly descriptive of what we're watching.
You're not gonna put it up on the screen?
What about for the listeners? Right. So we're on the guy listening on Spotify and stuff like that. So we got to try to.
Okay, so you want to describe the first one, we'll describe the second.
Yeah, I mean, we can just both describe as we're talking, like, so comment about like what you're seeing and stuff like that, right? So just
put the phone flat so I can see those.
No, okay. Should we do? Is this him?
That's me. Oh my God, that's
I'm excited. See, I told you they're always keeping these fun, man.
Yes. When the landlord special starts peeling off like crazy when you're trying to sew.
Okay, so there's a bathtub and the paint is coming off while this person's in the tub.
Oh my!
It's coming off as one giant sheet.
Painted the tub?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people love to do this painting stuff where they paint the tub and the tile to save money.
I've never seen a tub get painted.
Oh, buddy, this is like a common practice. There's a whole business around this stuff. This always happens. You can never paint a tub.
I feel violated watching it. I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I've
painted tub,
and it's expensive.
Painted tub.
Yeah, you paint the tub. Like you take the old steel tub and you just repaint it. These guys come in
and
refinish it. They tape it. No, it's just basing and painting it, man.
That's terrible.
They just paint it, and it always will peel up. It will never.
Just replace the tub, guys.
It will never last.
Don't be lazy. Replace the tub.
And the cost is almost like replacing the tub.
Yeah, 100%. People just have it in their heads that it's going to be easier. All right, ready?
I can't.
They flipped this house a little too fast. Oh, the drawers in the corner of the kitchen hit each other before they're fully open.
You know what? Honestly, I've done a rental project like this, and when the contractor installed it, we're about to hand in the unit. We're doing the last final walkthrough with the landlord, and we're like opening, checking everything, and these two things started hitting, and we're like,
so what do you do to fix that?
Leave it out of the room.
What do you do to fix that? You got there's not enough counter space, right, on the side of the drawer. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they didn't leave enough of a gap. For it. So what you do is we had to change all the handles.
Oh,
so we just changed all the handles.
Because
it's hitting the handles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we quickly went and bought a bunch of handles, changed them all. Like we've got like a super low profile where we switched it to the tabs. I don't remember what we did, but like, what am I doing? This person's moving in. You can't not move in. Like for us, a big thing was like, they have to move in.
For sure.
You as an investor, you're counting on it, right?
That's your bleeding.
Right. So I can't delay a move in.
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
And then this puts a bad taste in them. They're going to look at everything, and then it just makes a bad experience for everybody. So
figure it out.
For us, like, if a contractor walked out, I remember in the original days when I was doing some of the renos or first started managing guys, and they didn't make the timelines, and I'd have to be there like, that night, and we're like,
dude, such a letdown.
Just hustling, man. At the end of the day, you got to hustle, right?
Such a letdown.
All right, let's see this next one.
Go for it. When you add paneling to a wall, but then 6 months later you decide to remove it, why?
Again, so you have paneling, and why are they removing it?
Here comes the pun.
Oh no. It's on a concrete wall.
Board. Is it wall or board?
No, that's a concrete
board. Is it?
No, that was a concrete wall.
Oh my God.
So all the paint and the plaster like ripped off.
Should have left.
It's funny because he was cutting it.
Should have left.
Try to, It's such a nice wall.
Yeah, I don't know why they. Okay, hold on a second. Are these not nail marks or screws? No, it is a concrete wall.
Yeah, that's concrete.
Okay,
and it's like you could tell they like PL'd it. Those look like they probably tack on the thing in, Like that thing was on.
Oh, that's the ridge. Yeah.
And I don't know, you know what's interesting though? Like after the first piece, when you take down that first piece, and half of the wall rips off.
Well,
you're not like, maybe we should put it back.
Put it back.
And these guys were like, no, let's
take
just
the whole
keep
thing.
going.
They really hated that damn paneled wall. They didn't want anything to do with it.
My God, it's crazy.
All right, here we go.
I just moved into a new apartment, and
Okay.
please
Girl
tell me
moves
why.
in. Girl apartment.
I'm looking
Okay.
everywhere for
For young
the
millennials?
damn
Looks like
thermostat.
She's looking for a thermostat. So
heating AC unit, right? With like, actually, it's pretty chic, like a little wooden cover over the top.
you got one of those like hotel
But then I'm like, okay, so they do this. And it
boxes.
says the unit is controlled by a wall-mounted thermostat.
Yeah.
And so I'm literally all searched the entire apartment.
Oh, man.
I mean, I literally looked behind this mattress. Probably like
So she
4
rented the
times. So I was like,
apartment.
there's no way. And like
This
I
happens
found
often.
over there. And
Where
I
like
literally
contractors,
looked
like
everywhere.
like the tapers
I
will
swear to
tape
God,
over a
I'm
wire.
like,
You ever
oh,
lose a
yeah.
box or a light? Like I took over a project recently
because I just simply could not
from a
find
client.
it. Y'all,
It's got to be in a good
tell me
spot,
why.
or does she not have it?
First off, let's just admire
Oh,
the
she
door
has it,
here.
though.
I'm obsessed with this.
That is a
apartment,
nice
by the
door.
way. I'm gonna do.
It's gonna be somewhere funny.
Why?
She's got a
don't
nice
even
sliding
think-
door with.
Is the thermostat?
Oh, there it is.
Oh, it was
Or-
behind the
least
bar
it's
door.
there.
Yeah,
Y'all,
okay.
least it's there.
I just
It's a barn door. Okay.
Yeah.
She made it worse than it was.
Yeah,
It was just hiding behind the bar door that she had open.
it was.
damn.
A lot of people think about when
Okay,
they're
who's this guy?
renovating, how can I
So
save
good
money
looking.
right now on this renovation?
Okay, so we're watching
But another thing
Evan
to ask yourself is,
talking about how we're
can
gonna
I
save money.
down the line? How can I save
How can we
more
save
on
money down the
expenses
line? Okay.
line based on the renovation I'm doing right now? And the
This
trick
is
to
a
that is through
stupid
energy
advice.
efficiency.
Energy
A few
efficiency.
key things you can do to help your energy efficiency and reduce your overall costs are
I hate watching my own
insulation,
videos.
changing out old windows. A lot of energy is leaked through windows, so making sure you have new energy efficient windows will help keep the heat in where you need it, or keep the AC cool and the house cool when you need it as well.
So we're getting
LED
tips?
light bulbs are a great way to do
Oh,
this. You can
wow.
do this
Did you
yourself
see that?
really
Okay, wait. Did you see it?
I did see it.
What?
He had a CFL light.
Did you? You know how many
Exploding.
people said that to me? Oh, at least 3 people said that to me.
This is
My
why
cousin-
this is why you're on the fail, man. Like
Listen,
like
my-
this. So
Aw,
this
man.
this investor. Who's
You don't
teaching,
know.
He's teaching us about energy efficiency.
Oh, man.
Right. He's going over these like windows and like a window shows up.
My editor
Yeah.
didn't know the difference between a CFL and an LED, but could also make the argument that's the light bulb you want to remove and put the LED in. I think one step ahead here. Oh, God.
You've had that many conversations.
Yeah,
you
man, I-
figured out how to
yeah.
explain the answer.
Yeah, 100%.
That was the
man.
best one ever.
Damn it.
I don't think anybody's gonna have one as good as this.
Thermostat
No, man.
adjust to where your home.
Yeah.
These are some good tips, though. These are some good
It's
tips.
good. It's
These
good.
are
It's not that bad. You know what? The damn stock image of the CFL light bulb. I'm telling you, my cousin hit me with it like
Did your editor Google like CFL light bulb or did she Google LED light bulb? Like,
probably just looked for
light bulb.
Like, and that's, I wouldn't have, like, yeah.
You know what? If
Yeah.
it was
What if it was like one of those like bioluminescent?
no, if it was a
like-
regular light bulb, you could argue that like
Just
there was
light
still
bulb.
LED inside of it.
Yeah. But this is like,
This is like
looks like I went
clearly-
out of my way to like get this image and it was the wrong one.
Yeah,
for
because you
sure.
wanted to show the type of light bulb you want to remove. I get it now. I get it. That was the. I was wondering why your video was in there.
And I debated too. I was like, man, a few people are messaging me about this. I was like, should I take it down? I was like, nah.
It'll never come back.
Hey,
to haunt me.
it'll
And then
work.
you
Yeah,
want
it
me-
will. Here I am on a podcast, and it's already haunting me. Like only how many weeks ago? It is not even like that's like
Oh,
2 weeks ago,
this is
man.
fresh. Oh my God.
fresh,
This is so
man.
old.
Oh, no,
it's fresh. It's even worse.
Oh God, it's even better.
I think you
It's
should take it down.
Not like
I mean, actually, you know what? It is kind of good. You know, from a marketing perspective, people are gonna comment.
Yeah.
and they're gonna.
that's the wrong light. That's what I was
gonna
saying. From an analytics perspective, I got
create
more
buzz.
messages on this video than a few other ones. So
So I mean,
man.
you know,
that's why you see people like spelling things wrong all the time on purpose, or like
yeah, to create a
because then people always love. I mean, you can do like 10 things right, but or 100 things right. You do one thing wrong, people are gonna jump all over that. You know what I mean? And so
100%.
I wouldn't paint a bathtub, but
What's the wording you have behind in your background?
make the decision.
Oh, make.
I know I need to change it. It needs to come up top, but
No, I was just curious.
yeah, it says make the decision.
Make the decision.
It's my motto.
You should have. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you should just do more of these bad videos.
More
So
bad videos?
Yeah, because you get way more comments.
Yeah. what am I going to say next? And I'm like, don't insulate your house. It's useless. Save money by not insulating.
You know, sometimes it's what it takes. It's about starting the conversation.
Oh man.
So we could talk about it.
And then right at the end, be like, disclaimer, if you watch to the end, thank you for watching to the end. This was shitty advice on purpose. Shoot me a message either way.
That's really good. Okay, so what's next for Evan? I know you like to shoot high and then shoot higher. So
thousands and thousands of doors, like multi-thousand door property holdings.
Just rehabbing and do you build from the ground up?
Both.
Like what's
Absolutely both. Yeah, both. I want to get into full scale development in the future. I definitely want to pick up some rehab buildings. But
forced appreciation, those things, baby.
Oh man,
I love those things.
So good. So that's the future for me. Just like a ton of doors. I'm looking forward to doing some events with you. I think that's going to be really cool. Jordan and I have been talking about this for over a year.
Man, that's going to be exciting. Even just talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. It's the right thing, and
it needs it. It needs it. The market needs it. There's too many guys. There's a guy, Erwin Zetzo. I don't know if you know him. He's got a podcast and stuff for that, and he always talks about it, especially in today's time era, like how many coaches in real estate investing programs are just popping up like all of a sudden it's a big boom, right? So it's kind of scary, and you got to like vet people and like, you know, like vetting contractors. Like it's scary, man. You don't know who knows anything until you kind of do it.
And back,
yeah. Like it's crazy. So I think we need some good programs. At the end of the day, I think the big programs are going to survive, or the good ones, the ones that actually have validity.
They'll weather the storms for sure. But I also think like people need more meetups. I think we need like really crafted meetups, you know, and
I'll tell you this, what I like the Discord, man, the way you could have a meetup all the time. Like you're constantly being able to meet up because you know who's in the room, and like who you could like pose questions in certain areas and to certain people. Like it's like a meetup. Like meetups should be more like the Discord thing. Maybe we should add that to our meetups. Like, wouldn't it be nice to go to a meetup?
Colored name tags?
Yeah, like have colored name tags, like to kind of figure out who you are. Because you walk into a room and you don't know anybody, and then you got to like try to start a conversation.
Like, which category do you fit in? Choose your lanyard based on your profession.
That's what we're going to do. I think
then we can have the same name tags.
Yeah.
Lanyards are different colors.
But at least you know, hey, this guy's in money. This guy's in, he's a real estate agent, or this guy's a contractor, or this guy's a supplier or a vendor. And like, it helps narrow down the room and even just have a good understanding. I remember there was one that I went to, Rain. And I don't know if they still do it or.
They still do it.
But they used to have like pins. And your pin would equate to the number of doors you had. I
love that.
And that was really good, but it didn't differentiate what you did, right? Like, but it was good though, because you don't want to be talking to, like, we talk about scale and economies of scale. The economies of scale are always different depending on your scale. Like, you know, the new investor starting up can't have a conversation with you who's trying to buy 70 unit buildings because your problems aren't
very different problems, right? Yeah.
And you may not even remember your old problems and what it's like in today's market condition and everything. Like
I do like that pin idea. I do like that. You know who does
I think it's something like that would be really cool.
The best meetups are done by multi-level marketing companies. Like the best.
They got to be energy and like
huge energy. You have the rankings for the pins. You have like, you know.
I'm excited for
we should do it.
The multifamily conference, because Grant Cardone is that guy. I think meetups should be a party and like fun and like, you know, there always, you know what, I've gone to so many that don't have a speaker, and it's just, you know, guys that go and they collect together in a room, and it's good. It's always important to be in a room. But what I found was being in a room, if you've been in that room like 20 times, 30 times, and you don't see any faces, then how do you continue to connect with that person? By having a speaker, you create that.
Yeah, there's always someone better.
I really love like what that guy was saying. What are your thoughts? And you can kind of like rekindle conversations, because, you know, once you get to know somebody so much, like sometimes you just like run out of things to talk about. So
it's true. It's very true. And I think bringing in new talent, there's always a bigger fish, right? And you keep bringing in bigger, crazier names. You'll be able to keep continuing to provide more and more value for everyone. And that's really what it's about. So
This is happening now.
The future
right
is
now.
bright.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting 5 years from
You heard it here first. This
This is
event started
here.
this
like this
brainchild
moment.
right
Yeah,
here,
for sure.
baby.
100%. It's crazy.
That's fantastic.
But this is what I love about this guy. He's always you're a ball of energy, man. Like honestly, and good energy. That's like
Yeah.
I've never had a bad conversation with you.
Yeah.
And what's
Like the future of real estate.
yeah? What do you think is going on in the future of real estate investing right now?
I
know it's-
think, well, hey,
it's been
Canada, the Bank
crazy.
of Canada held interest rates. I think that we're going to see a little bit more of a decline. I think spring is going to be exciting, as it always is.
Mhm.
And then my personal opinion is a little bit more of a decline. I think rates will have to come up a little bit more, unfortunately. And then I think we'll start to, as the recession,
I don't know, do you think-
ensues.
You think rates have to keep coming up? It's gonna be tough, man. Like
States just raised their
so
rates.
I know, but so I look at some of this stuff.
Dollar just dropped huge because of it. We didn't raise ours.
No,
States
that's
raised
true.
theirs. The dollar, we're 60 cents on the dollar now.
Oh my god,
Yeah, 38 cents or something like that. Like, it was wild.
it's crazy.
Dude, that's insane. I was talking to these guys are producing modular homes. We want to potentially bring these modular homes into Canada and use them to do the dedues, right? Detached dwelling units. But anyways, we're talking to them and I was like, they're like, oh, what's your financial, like, what's your target for how much you want to spend on these, like all in? I'm like, a turnkey, this is my goal. And I was like, but to be honest with you, I don't even know if that's achievable anymore because our dollar is so far separated from yours. My goal is this, that's 40% off. You have to like
Yeah,
instantly, right? Of like my spending power in the States. So, but I don't know. I think the interest rates will have to come up a little bit more. I hope they don't for my own sake and everybody's sake, really. But I think that the stress test will be reduced because right now with the current stress test and the interest rates being so high, I think the ability to enter the market is very hard. And so you're restricting first-time home buyers, which is ultimately the exact opposite of what you want. You want more first-time home buyers. You want, in theory, less investors is what the government technically wants, right?
yeah. I mean, they changed the rule too. I think I read in an article, like you know how you go to 6 homes in your name, and then like I think they dropped it down to 4 now.
I'm buying all commercially now, so like
Well, for the beginner guys, right?
Yeah.
Like so there was like a lot of like you could own 6 under your name, and now you can't. It's down to 4.
for anybody
the threshold.
listening, those thresholds are put in place to force you to be more creative. You can buy more than 6 homes in your name. You just
100%.
have to be creative, and like it's like taxes. Like the tax laws are there to teach you actually how to save more money, not how to get screwed. You're getting screwed because you're being taxed, but the tax laws are there to help you. Are a path to save more money, actually.
It's it's the hurdle you got to overcome, right? It's gotta figure out how you're gonna overcome it.
So, what do you think's gonna happen with prices?
With prices,
Price of real estate,
price of real estate.
up or down in the next year?
Ooh, I think it's gonna come up a bit. Not like it's not gonna be anything. I don't think it's gonna be anything significant. I think it's gonna be kind of stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's gonna depend on interest rates and affordability. Really,
Yeah.
people are stressed. Like the average person is stressed, and
For sure.
if we keep going up, and I mean all the major food companies right now are in the middle of a court battle because they have posted record profits.
Yeah, no kidding.
But they're sitting there saying that they only make like $1 of a 25
Yeah.
bag of groceries.
That's right. I remember saying that. Yeah.
So
My eggs have tripled in cost or doubled in cost,
yeah,
whatever
so
it is.
it's I don't know, man. Like it's honestly very difficult to predict up and down. Like
What do you think
Yeah.
material costs?
material costs are coming down. I think all that stuff's going to continue to come down unless the war changes that. But I think material costs, I think everything's kind of like stabilized. At first there was a big panic and everything kind of moved up, but like they're sorting out the fuel costs. Like the fuel cost honestly was the biggest driver to material costs going up because, if it's expensive to ship stuff around, and that's like everything you receive in your hand had to come across a boat, on a plane, on a train, on something. And if that cost doubles, everything gets affected, right? So that I think has been the big thing, but like it's stabilized. A lot of my suppliers have said like, hey, we're dropping prices.
Great.
That's
great news.
I think it's coming. I think we're reaching a norm. Kind of like same with the housing. I don't think the housing is going to go crazy high or crazy low. I think it's kind of like stabilizing. I think we're stabilizing for me.
I agree.
My opinion. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I don't think anybody really does.
No one knows.
And at the end of the day, you just gotta, keep adjusting your bike or keep building your parachute and just land.
100%.
We just gotta land, right?
100%.
Don't be afraid to jump. Ask this guy. Okay, so Evan, how do people get in contact with you? What do you want them to get in contact with you about?
Hey, I'm an open book. You can reach me on my Instagram at Evan Ungar, EVANUNGAR. You can email me, evan@tuckcapital.com, TUKCAPITAL.com. And hey, reach out for anything. Reach out for advice. Reach out to network. And I mean, if you need construction, renovation, we do full turnkey. We do acquisitions. We do investment strategy, goal planning, real estate goal planning. Like you name it. We're having fun doing it.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Speaking of books,
yeah, I have a book. It's called Make the Decision. That's why I love that slogan and that line. You can't get it anymore. I've taken it down. It's now a collectible.
So wait, where do I get my copy and why don't I have a signed one?
Yeah, see, I got to hook you up. I got to hook you up personally. You got to reach out to me to get this book personally.
Bug.
I have the only stock left in my house. But now version 2 is coming out. And so I've discontinued version 1. I'm doing some amazing new relevant updates to this one.
Amazing.
And, version 2 should come out maybe this year. So we'll see.
Excited.
Ding. Yeah.
Yeah, click like, subscribe, add a comment down below if you have any questions or any topics you want us to keep covering. We're going to be planning an event soon, and I think it'll be great to network.
Yeah, comment if you want to come to the event.
Yeah, it should be good. We're going to make it fun. Like, why not?
Absolutely. It's going to be unreal.
If you're tired of going to these boring events,
Hit us up.
we're going to change that.
You want to party and learn? Let's do it.
Hey, man. You always got to have fun, right?
100%.
You always got to have fun. You can follow me at Tacobout Investing on my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the socials. That stuff will be down below. And it was great having you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. It was awesome. Oh, God.
Oh, we're going to do a jump contest? We should do a jump contest.
Oh, for sake. Oh, my God.
Right here on the table.
Oh, my God. Can you jump this?
I can jump on this.
Can you?
I think so.
I want to see it. Dude, you gotta keep these cameras rolling, folks. For those of you who don't know what's about to happen, we have jump contest now written on the whiteboard. Mark, if you hurt yourself, I'm gonna feel really bad.
Well, it's okay. You know what? Because you made me do it.
Can you jump where there's not a wall behind you?
That's
or can
fine.
we pull the table this way?
Bro, I'm like a jiu-jitsu champion, okay?
Oh my God. That's the best. That's the best.
Now you want to see me jump. Now you want
Let me get that.
Now you want to see me jump.
These are all recording different angles, right? Like, you get like full view here. Oh my God.
It's not that high.
Wait, let me get this going here.
How high is this?
Dude, not that
I gotta
high.
hold the camera. I think that one's got to go. I don't know what. Like, is there a technique to this? Or
I'm not helping you now. You're challenging me, man. What do you mean?
Come on, this is like I'm not a.
We got
I don't play
Mark
basketball.
Yataco here, the taco man himself.
Holy shit! Told you I could do it.
Holy shit! That was fucking awesome, man. You smashed
See?
that.
I told you, buddy. You're going down. You're going down,
Oh
man.
my God! I'm
right?
actually so impressed.
I'm gonna write my name above you. It
Whew, I was so scared though. Oh my God, I don't know about that, man.
was good. See, killed
Dude,
it.
you absolutely crushed that. Good work.
I'm not even a jiu-jitsu champion,
We
but
gotta-
I can jump on a table.
You can, dude. You know what? I would say the majority of people I know would have eaten absolute shit doing that. So
Yeah, but buddy, come on.
you're not the majority. You're not average. Man.
Tell me I'm average.
We
Come
gotta,
on. Right?
we gotta stack something on here, man. We gotta get you going. You're like, where's all the flooring stacks? Let's go.
That's it. You got one jump out of me.
That's
One jump out of
awesome.
me. And I popped my knee in.
Oh, you
December.
okay? Oh,
No,
in
in
December.
December.
In December.
Yes, it's still sore as shit.
Good
to go
work,
down.
man. All right, awesome.
Okay.
Good work. Are you want me to jump now?
You have to. Like, you can't let me show you up, can you? Now you can do a single-legged jump.
Yeah, I haven't single leg jumped in like probably 3 years.
Well, how are you going to show me up? You're going to show me up.
A third leg jump. Oh my God.
Look, see, he's got a stretch. You guys watching this?
I'm an old man over here.
I'm 42.
Yeah.
Baby bird.
I'm a baby bird. Oh my God. Kill me, man. Last thing you want to do is pull a muscle, guys.
Don't fall. Oh, you don't have to. If you don't want to do this, Evan, you don't have to.
The last thing I'm going to do is let someone else on their podcast show me up in my jumping. Okay. No f***ing way. I could probably straight leg jump this.
Oh, do you need more room? Do you need more room? Do you need room? I noticed like when you jump.
You're social media talking shit.
But I noticed when you jump, you really got to squat down.
I do a good squat, man. I was impressed with yours. All right, I'm just going to go for it. You ready?
Yeah, we're ready, man. Look at that, like a baby bird, man. I jumped and that table was like, oh my God.
I think I probably one leg jump this for you here. I can't remember how I one leg jump. I'm just going to move this a little bit
I
forward.
feel like you just jumped.
No, I haven't jumped one leg jumped in so long.
Oh my!
There you go.
You're a beast.
All right, that's it. That's how we do it.
One leg jump. You had to show me.
I had to show you up. You said show you up. I had to do it.
Damn it.
I'll help you at the table. Let's go.
Don't challenge World Guinness Book of World Record jumper. That's the lesson here, people.
There you go. In dress pose. Thank God for Lulu's.
Hope you enjoyed the show and thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Tacobout Investing. Join the conversation on our Discord server for more tips, advice, and speak directly to the pros, and also get access to our Reno management platform. If you have any ideas for the show or any feedback, hit me up on my socials, and let's continue to talk about investing.